Yep. So it is 2 o'clock on the dot. So let's go ahead and get started here. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Qgiv webinar. I have another exciting topic to discuss with everyone here today: how to use text fundraising to increase event registrations and engage your attendees. This is a relevant topic, as we see, for everyone that is in the chat here. Lots of great conversations about the events coming up, some of them coming here in May, some of them coming into the fall event season, as well as some that look like they're pushing into the end of year as well. So we have a lot of great tips today that we're going to cover on how to utilize this both in the short term and the long term. And I hope that you will take something away from today's discussion. But before we get started, for those that are unfamiliar with Qgiv, we are an online fundraising platform. We have solutions for all size nonprofits, including year-round fundraising tools, text fundraising, which we're talking about today, peer-to-peer fundraising, and auction tools. You are at the center of everything that we do here at Qgiv, and our goal is to make fundraising as easy as possible so that you can raise more money online. If you're interested in learning more, please visit us at www.qgiv.com. So a few housekeeping notes before we begin today. I did see someone drop in the chat as well about a recording of the session. And yes, we will be sending out a recording of the webinar as well as a copy of the slides once we complete today's session. So I normally send those out the morning after, so you should get it tomorrow morning in your inbox with a link to the recording, a copy of the slides, and I also include a couple of more resources in there for you as well to help you with all things event fundraising. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A option in Zoom. I'll try my best to answer all the questions that you have at the end of today's presentation. A little bit about myself. My name is Justin Cook. I am the Director of Demand Generation here at Qgiv. I've been at Qgiv for over 4 years now. I'm creeping up on 5 here very soon. And I've been a marketing professional for well over 7 years, again, creeping up on 8 years myself. This time surely does fly by when you're having fun, because my area of expertise is in digital marketing and optimizing the user journey. I absolutely love everything that I do, and that's just really a fancy way of saying that I try to make your life easier when you're looking for more resources or trying to learn more about Qgiv's fundraising tools online. I also have 3 animals. The reason why I don't do any of my webinars at home anymore, they are all chaotic and I love them to death. On the left there is Milo. I have Ghost in the middle there, and then Stella as well. So let's get started here what we're going to be discussing. Today we're going to be looking at why text fundraising is a great tool for your fundraising events. We're also going to take a look at how you can utilize text fundraising for your events to increase event registrations, as well as how you can engage attendees at your event. Shauna, can you hear me now? I see that you dropped that in the chat. If anyone can't hear me, please let me know. You can also dial in as well. There is a phone number in the invite that you have. Sorry about that. And we'll also be taking a look at text fundraising best practices and what are the best ways that your organization can use text fundraising, so that you're not wondering around in the dark what the best way to go about handling this is. We're going to take a look at text fundraising examples from successful Qgiv clients. I'm also going to give you a brief overview of Qgiv's text fundraising tools, including what the pricing looks like and the support that we offer, and then we'll do the Q&A at the end of the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started on why text fundraising is a great tool. Mobile phones are the most utilized device by your donors. To capture their attention, you need to meet them where they are, even when they are on the go and they're distracted with all of their life and what they're doing outside. And you can do this with text fundraising. 96.1% of donors own a smartphone. They are the most popular device in the world. And donors look at their phones around 80 times a day. So when you do send them a text message, 98% of the time, donors will read your message within the first 5 minutes of it being sent. Talk about an incredibly high open rate. On average, we do see $138.87 is given through text donations on the Qgiv platform. And over the last year, text fundraising has grown 25% from 2021 to 2022. We have consistently seen growth in text fundraising as a marketing channel for nonprofit organizations. These high engagement rates and the average donation amounts that you see make text fundraising a hidden gem of a marketing channel for your nonprofit. It's also very popular with your donors. Qgiv conducted a study to find out what your donors' preferred giving channels were. We called this the Generational Giving Study, and we found out that 10% of donors preferred to give by text. Now, this is over all of the other giving channels that you have, including email, social media, direct mail, phone calls, and any other giving methods that you have open. So text fundraising is a very popular choice for your donors. We also did see during the study as well that it is a preferred method of younger generations. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, but Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z, these are your younger generations, and they adopt technology faster. So it should be a surprise that younger donors prefer your text fundraising. And then baby boomers do not like text fundraising, so I would stick to traditional methods with baby boomers like direct mail or personalized phone calls to invite them to your events. And finally, text fundraising is incredibly versatile marketing channel. You can use it for all of your different campaigns that you have, including your year-round fundraising, if you're sending out general appeals to raise funds, if you want to update donors on any nonprofit news, or you want to update them on some fundraising progress throughout the year. And you can even use this to engage lapsed donors or utilize it in any of your giving days, such as Giving Tuesday. And it can also be included within your year-end appeals as well. Today, we will be hyper-focused on events. And we're going to explore how your organization can use text fundraising to engage donors. So last month, we took a deep dive into all things event marketing. We took a look at the planning process holistically, including a communication schedule, which did include text fundraising in that, and how that fits into your overall event planning. That webinar is available on demand on the Qgiv website, so I will make sure to send that over to you in the follow-up email. But if you do want to take a look at that, it is called Marketing Your Fundraising Events, Tips and Tools to Increase Registrations. But again, I will include that in the follow-up email. For the purpose of today's webinar, we're going to look specifically at text fundraising and how you can communicate with your audiences before, during, and after your event, as well as provide you with tips for each type of event, including standard fundraising events such as galas, peer-to-peer events, and auction events. Whether you're hosting a virtual, in-person, or hybrid event, you need to engage donors before, during, and after your fundraising event. Use text fundraising to invite donors to your events, keep them engaged during the event, and encourage ongoing support afterwards. A special note here, because events vary based on the size of the event and who you're inviting, please use the timelines that I give you today and tailor them to your unique needs. These are general best practices that you should modify to whatever the unique event that you have. Another caveat here as well is if you're hosting multiple events throughout the year, do not overlap your communications for different events. This will only cause confusion with your donors. So make sure that you are using these timelines and framing them into the timelines that you have for your own events. So about 2 or 3 months ahead of your event, you're going to want to start a steady stream of communication to your audiences using a multi-channel marketing approach, meaning that you want to send out communications in several different ways, including text fundraising, social media, direct mail, email as well. Before your event, you're going to want to, during this whole 2 to 3 months ahead of time, I do suggest that you space out your text messages between every 2 to 3 weeks to those that have opted into your different text message communications. A very important part here is to not over communicate through this channel. This is one channel that is easy to over communicate with and really turn off your donors to the idea of text. Text can feel very intrusive to the lives of your donors. So make sure that you are spacing out your text messages over 2 to 3 weeks. and that you're not, sending multiple messages throughout the day before your event. Because on the day of the event, you want to send multiple communications throughout the day with more details about your event. We'll dive into each of these a little bit later. And then after your event, we're going to use text to send updates about the success of our event, as well as automate some reminders to anyone that has pledged to gift to our organization. So let's dive into before your fundraising event. So as we mentioned previously, we're looking at about 2 to 3 months ahead of time, and we're sending these about every 2 to 3 weeks. So before your event, you'll want to send a couple of text messages out to your audiences to get them excited for your event and encourage them to register. Your stream of text will look something like the following. So the first message that you send out about 3 months ahead of time will be your initial event announcement. This will include the date and time, and as well as the location of your event. An example of this, we're excited to announce the Dream Team Gala on May 15th at Bonnet Springs Park. Learn more and we include a short link back to our event landing page that we have. A second message would be about 2 months ahead of your event, and you want to build excitement in this one. You want to include something special about your event that's coming up, whether that's the entertainment or if you booked a big speaker for your event. You're going to want to highlight any early bird discounts or promo cards that you have, promo codes, excuse me, as well as link to your registration page as well. So we want to have this set up pretty quickly ahead of time so that you can start getting those registrations and generating that excitement for your event. An example would look something like, join us May 15th at the Dream Team Gala with live music from Shinedown. Early bird discount is almost over, so register now. And again, including back that short link to our registration page where they can learn more as well as register for our event. And then a third message would be about a month ahead of time. And here you're creating a sense of urgency and the fear of missing out. We're building on those different senses from our donors so that we get them to register. So you want to build on the time-sensitive nature of your event, which can include to increase your registrations. So if you have limited space, you want to utilize this within your messaging as well. If you still have any early bird discounts or promo codes going on, this is another time to highlight those to get them to get donors to register quickly, especially, for example, if you have a promo code and there's like limited uses to that promo code, you can use that to get some people, additional donors to register for your events as well. An example of this would be the Dream Team Gala is almost here. Get your tickets now before they run out. So a great example of how you build urgency. Another example of this could be where you're building on the community, where you ask your donors to join their fellow neighbors and helping your cause. So if your cause is centered around helping out those that are don't have a home or don't have a great place to steady food and things like that, maybe you're working with a homeless shelter or a food bank or something like that, you can build on that and you can say, join your fellow neighbors as we help to end hunger in our community. And we can do all of this through the Dream Team Gala. The day of your event, we are looking to engage attendees on site and keep them updated throughout the day of your event using text messaging. So along the same lines of drumming up excitement that we did before the event, we want to make sure that we communicate to our registrants what important event details that they need to know. For example, if you have any special parking areas, or if you want to give them an idea of how they can check in quickly, make sure that you tell your registrants about these important pieces of information. And if you do have, for example, a virtual component that you're working on here, make sure to segment your lists, your communication lists between those that are in person and those that are virtual. Virtual, we need to know about some of the different aspects of the event, but they don't need to know about parking, for example. The virtual event would need to know about the event schedule, but they don't need to know how to check in quickly, right? So think about those different types of communications that you're sending out, the different types of details to make sure that, one, virtual attendees can get online quickly to wherever you're hosting the live stream, as well as for your in-person attendees, parking instructions. What is the event schedule? How do I get checked in quickly? Thinking about all of those things that you need to send out and communicating to your donors, your attendees between virtual and in-person. During your event, we want to start reminding our attendees about key event times. We want to encourage attendees to participate in entertainment. So if we have our live music coming up, we want to make sure that we communicate that. And if we have any other types of games or raffles or any other ways that we're looking to raise more money online on site, make sure to encourage your attendees to participate in those. You can also do appeals throughout your event as well, where you can pull up a live screencast, include your keyword and text fundraising number as well on there, and a thermometer too, so that you can show fundraising progress throughout your event and make sure that you're capturing their attention on site. This is also another great add to your sponsorship packages that you have for events. You can have your live screencast pulled up and then highlight sponsors on that screen as well. So make it very easy, make it very visible as well. And about 2 weeks, you want to start some of this event communication about 2 weeks ahead of time. You want to space out these types of communications. For example, if you send out an event details about 2 weeks ahead of time, and you have special instructions on how attendees can get checked in early, and they get like some type of reward for it. So they get an extra raffle ticket, or they get a free drink when they're in the check-in line. Make sure that you're encouraging them to do this, but also monitor the engagement rates with these. Because if a specific attendee doesn't interact with that event detail, you're going to want to send a follow-up, and you want to segment those communications based on that. So continue to encourage your attendees to interact with your organization through text fundraising and get them signed up early for some of the key components of your event. After your event, it's time to continue our donor retention efforts. We want to thank attendees for coming, and then we also want to provide an update on the fundraising progress of your event. So in the event wrap-up, once you've completed your event reconciliation and you are ready to share the results of your event, you want to craft a follow-up message that you'll send to your entire audience. Now, text isn't necessarily the best place to send this communication, but if you do create some type of blog post with all of the event details, what you can do through text messaging is give them a quick update. So we raised 110% of our fundraising goal. Thank you so much for coming out. If you want to check out some more information on the night, details of the night, if you want to check out some photos and some videos that we had throughout the event as well, you can then include a link back to that blog post where they can reread all of the fundraising, what the impact of all of the funds raised at the event will be. And you can even encourage them to stay involved during that blog post as well. So if you're not doing any type of blog posts for sharing your events or anything like that, I would suggest that you thank your attendees for coming to the event, give them an update on the progress that you had during the event and what, if you raised your goal or if you got over it or under it, and then encourage them to stay involved. What are other things that they can do to stay involved with your organization, like volunteer opportunities? Can they subscribe to some type of newsletter where they can continue to get nonprofit news updates from you? What can you do to keep them involved that you can keep them in your donor retention efforts? An example with this would be the Dream Team Gala was a resounding success. Thank you to everyone who could join us and make it a memorable night. Check out key highlights and fun photos. And again, that short link as well to link them back to our site for further engagement. You'll also have automated reminders that you want to set up for your event. So with text fundraising, the great thing that you can do is instead of getting the donation right there and then at the event, you can ask your donors to pledge to your organization. And if they don't end up finishing that gift during the night, you can set up automated reminders that go out 1 day, 3 days, and 7 days after your event to continue to encourage them to complete their gift and continue to reiterate the impact of what that donation will have to your organization. So text fundraising is great for both during the event and after the event to continue to get donors to engage with your organization and get them to complete any gifts that they have pledged to your organization. An example with this would be, thank you so much for your pledge to Dream Team Gala. Please visit our short code link to complete your donation. As I mentioned before, text fundraising is an incredibly versatile type of fundraising tool. So we just covered some of the use cases that you can use for your standard events, which with that cadence that we talked about, you can also use that same cadence for your peer-to-peer fundraising and auction events as well. So that's not just limited to your gala events, that can be to anything that you host. What we're going to dive into with peer-to-peer fundraising and auction tools are what the additional use cases are. So think about what we just talked about a generalized sort of communication plan for before, during, and after your event. And then we're going to dive into how peer-to-peer, you can use text fundraising for your peer-to-peer events and your auction events. One great thing about peer-to-peer fundraising is that it empowers donors to raise funds on behalf of your organization. So donors that do choose to fundraise on your behalf can also utilize the power of text fundraising to raise money for you as well. Through text fundraising and peer-to-peer, you can easily encourage donors to sign up for your event and to raise money. So think about the same event strategy that we had before, but in here, we're encouraging donors to actually fundraise instead of giving to our organization. And then explaining why that's going to have a bigger impact for your organization outside of just donating money. So text fundraising is a great way to encourage those donors to sign up to fundraise. Through text fundraising as well, you'll be able to include donors with resources to help them raise more money, including what your nonprofit story is, any text messaging templates that you create, as well as what text fundraising best practices are. What we're going to talk about a little bit later today as well. You can provide these same things to your donors that are fundraising on your behalf to help and encourage them to raise money for your organization. And your donors will be able, you and your donors will be able to send segmented communication as well. So as we talked about before, segmenting communications between in-person and virtual, your fundraisers as well can do the same thing to talk to their friends and family to encourage them to donate to your organization. For auction events, we can use text fundraising to sort of get them more involved in some of the auction items that we have. For example, here we're talking about bidding start and end times. If you're including a live auction as well, you can announce when that's going to start and when that's going to end as well. So auction events are very chatty, and there's a lot of entertainment. So getting your donors focused, getting your attendees focused on bidding on different items at the auction itself will be very helpful. So for example, highlighting underperforming auction items and any funded need items that you have for your organization setup. And in the same use cases as we had with the previous like standard events, pulling up that keyword on a live screencast with a fundraising thermometer to continue to encourage pledges and donations as well. So let's talk more about some text fundraising best practices. So pre-event planning is very important to utilize text fundraising in a successful way. You want to minimize disruptions during your event by having that communication plan set and utilize the power of your text fundraising platform to make this process as easy and simple as possible for your donors to give during your event. Some things that I encourage you to do for your event. So as we talked about before, we can send out fundraising appeals. We can set up the live screencast as well. I do encourage you to create your text messages before your event. On-site events can get really crazy. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces. It's easy to forget some things, and you're not going to have time to sit down and actually write a text message. So I do encourage you, draft any text messages that you have approved by your communication team in your text platform before. And if possible, if you have a text fundraising platform that allows this, set them to send automatically as well. So if you know that bidding is coming up is about to start at 7 p.m., we can actually schedule that text message to go out at 6:55 p.m. so that you don't actually have to sit down and send that text messages. Another thing that I do suggest is create text message templates that you can send quickly without, again, having to sit down and draft them and write them. So for example, if there's an emergency that you need to quickly communicate with everyone, if the music that you have or the entertainment that you have has to be pushed back for maybe 5 to 10 minutes or something like that, I would suggest that you set up some quick text message templates that you can easily send out in case of an emergency. If you have out of stock items, so if you offer any drinks or food on site that they can buy, or shirts that they can buy as well, make sure that you have some type of backup plan to use this. And a final appeal at the end of the night, if you're at like 95% of your fundraising goal, I would suggest creating some type of text message template that you can send out very quickly so you can encourage more donations to your organization. One great thing about text fundraising, it's very easy to use. One bad thing is that you need to make sure that you're choosing simple keywords. For example here, LRC Gala, great keyword. A bad keyword example, feed all the kids in Lakeland. And the reason why that is a bad keyword to choose is because of text message autocorrect. It's going to see feed all the kids in Lakeland and try to autocorrect it with all of the spaces in there. And that's not how your keyword is set up. So you want to make sure that you're choosing easy to understand keywords that are easy to type. You want to check and see that text message autocorrect doesn't update the keyword to something that doesn't make sense. So we have a couple of great keywords here. Like I said, LRC Gala, Lakeland Food, Eagle 19, Feed Florida. Some things to think about here. This is natural text casing for different type for how this works. So Florida there is FL, both capitalized. So make sure to think through that. Definitely use acronyms when possible that are tied to your event or campaign as well, such as Lakeland Food or Feed Florida. Eagle 19 as well. So Eagle 19, 2019, Eagle 19. Also test your keywords. Once you have this set up, you want to ask your friends, family, any coworkers to help test your keywords on as many devices as you can. So an Android device and an iPhone, use your device and ask anyone else that you can to use it. I do suggest different levels of different generations as well. So get a younger individual to test this, and someone older to test it as well. So to make sure that your keyword is easy to understand and that no one messes up when they're typing it in. So what you're looking for when you are testing it is to make sure that no one struggled to enter the keyword. You're looking to make sure that autocorrect didn't mess it up, and you want to make sure that people didn't forget it. So the longer the keyword, the more likely autocorrect's going to mess it up or someone's going to forget it. So very important things to think about during your planning process. And write it down. Make sure donors know about your keyword. If you don't write down your keyword for donors, they won't know that they can simply text your organization to donate. So when you are sending out all of your appeals through email or on your live screencast or your brochure or a social post or event signage or direct mail, anywhere that you're going to send out any of your event communication, make sure that donors understand where they can go to donate to your organization very quickly and easily. And then use it wisely. As I mentioned earlier, text fundraising is it's highly personable, provides a quick and engaging way to interact with your donors, but it is very easy to overuse, and it does feel intrusive to your donors. So when you are using text fundraising, make sure that you communicate with donors occasionally. Don't barrage them with text messages. Use text to communicate important information related to events and campaigns, and to send occasional fundraising appeals. And another best practice here is to make sure that you have donors opt in to receive communications and let them know what the frequency of text to expect from your organization. So let's take a look at a couple of successful text fundraising clients here at Qgiv. This is a very amazing event that I see that Bert's Big Adventure put on. They did a noon to night fall fashion benefit. And it was just a wonderful event. It was great. I highly suggest to go and check out this event that they hosted. But some great takeaways from the text fundraising keyword that they use. They just used magical. What an easy to understand keyword for any donor that was looking to utilize this as their their preferred giving channel. They included their keyword and their appeals. The example shown here is from one of their social posts that they did right at the day of the event. So they put it on social. They utilized great videos and images. As you can see here from the noon to night banner image that they have, that is a great image that they use, but they have many, many more of these. And I do check when you do advise when you do see the recording, go into the slides and click on the videos link that's there. That is their video that they had to promote the event. It is fantastic. They had a couple of fund the need options as well for their silent auction, and they even had local press pick up the event and promote it on behalf of their organization. So they did a great job with this, and they raised over $30,000 just through text fundraising for this event. Another one that I love to highlight is Junior Achievement of Northern California. So they used text fundraising during their virtual gala and ended up exceeding their $300,000 goal. So again, they used a very simple keyword. They ran one differences between this one and the Big's Bird's Adventure noon to night is that they ran multiple appeals throughout the night during their live stream and then pulled up their text fundraising keyword. They pulled up their number, which is 50155 for a short code for our platform, and instructions on how to donate. They also included their fundraising thermometer, which showed how much they had raised through the night and through the event. And they even had a scrolling banner at the bottom of their live stream that highlighted the names of donors that have been giving through text fundraising. Their text fundraising keyword and number were also present on the homepage of their event through Qgiv with an impact appeal of why they should give. And they made one final push at the end of the night, which they were sitting, I believe it was between 95 and 98% of their fundraising goal. And they eventually, with that final push of the text fundraising appeal, they ended up exceeding their goal to 311%. So they did a great job here utilizing text fundraising in their event. Let's take a quick look at Qgiv's text fundraising tools. So we can actually provide you with a live example here if you would like to test this on your own phone. So if you pull out your phone and go to your text message app, you can type in Qgiv demo text with a donation amount and your name. So you don't have to include your name if you want to be anonymous, but you can just do Qgiv demo text plus your donation amount. You're not going to be charged, I promise you. This is a demo example that we have. And you're going to type that to 50155, which is the short code that we have for our donation, our short code text fundraising. And when you do receive the text message back from 50155, you'll click on the link and you can use the card info below, which is why I say it's not going to charge your card. We have a demo card that you can utilize. So it starts with 4 followed by 11 ones. You can use any expiration date as long as it's not today, this month. So I usually just suggest you do 0425, and then you can use any 3-digit security code, but you can use 555. So while you're doing that and you're looking at how the text fundraising platform works and how easy it is for your donors to give, I'm going to take a look at pricing. So with Qgiv's text fundraising platform, we have 2 different ways that you can utilize text fundraising. So the first one is through our text fundraising platform, and this includes text to donate. So that is the option that you are utilizing currently you text in a code and the donation amount to a specific key number, so 5015 keyword plus what your donation amount, and what that does is it sends you to a mobile form that your donors would complete the donation through. Through Qgiv's text fundraising platform, you can have an unlimited number of custom keywords. You can send outbound messages through our platform as well, so you can engage attendees that way, like we were talking about previously. You can offer subscriptions, not only for your appeals, But if you want to send any updates about your nonprofit news, if you want to talk about volunteer management as well, you can use different subscriptions within the platform that we have to have your donors opt in or your volunteers opt in to receive those communications. And then you can send out mass text messages to ask them to subscribe to help you with your events or to register. We also, as I mentioned earlier, allow the option for pledges and include those automatic reminder messages as well. So if you did follow the process that I was showing you earlier with the live text to donate example, if you do not complete the gift with the demo credit card, you will receive an automated message through the service as well. And I believe it's set up for 1 day, so you might get it tomorrow. And we also include FundHub Live, which is the live screencast example that I was talking about previously. So all of this here you can see where you can subscribe to events. This is the normal response that you get for pledging, and then the live screencast as well. So our text fundraising platform that we offer, at Qgiv, we have a very we have an option for you to add or remove packages whenever. So for example, those that have a event coming up here in May, you can add it just for May when you have your event and then remove it when you don't. So you only have to pay for 1 month service, or if you want to use it more year round, you can pay our quarterly price as well. So that is $129 a month to use it or $297 a quarter. We do have transaction fees that are included in this, so 3.95% plus 30 cents per transaction for donations. In our outbound messaging, we do have a cap at 2,000 outbound messages a month, and there is overage charges, at 2.5 cents per message. But you get all the features that we have in our starter package, which includes unlimited donation forms and unlimited event landing pages and event registrations, and includes those text to donate, reminder messages, outbound messages. You can build and manage donor lists, the screencasting that I was showing you, and unlimited custom keywords. The second option that we have is called Build to Carrier. So this is through the Mobile Giving Foundation, and essentially the way that this works is a donor will text your keyword through the Build a Carrier option to the specific number that they have, and it automatically gets billed to their phone bill. So instead of the reply being the donation form, essentially this will be automatically added to their phone bill. And when they pay their phone bill next, that's when they would pay for the donation, and then the carrier, so Mobile Giving Foundation, will then distribute the funds to you. So one great thing about the text fundraising platform on Qgiv side through text to donate is that all of your donations will be received immediately. One drawback of Build a Carrier is that it takes time for them to process and then send the donation to your organization. So just keep that in mind when you are choosing different options. And the price for the Build a Carrier. So there is an annual fee for your first keyword of $1,788 with a one-time application fee of $350. And to add any additional keywords, it's $1,188. So keep that in mind. Build a Carrier is the more expensive option. And you have it activated all year round though. So this option is great for those that are looking to offer a very streamlined way. So they only have to type in the amount that they want to donate, and it goes to their phone bill, and it's activated all year round. So you don't have to you don't want to add or remove packages and things like that. We also, as I talked earlier, we have all these other packages as well, including Giving Essentials, which has a lot of great features for organizations to increase your year-round fundraising, your event fundraising. We also have peer-to-peer fundraising as well, as I mentioned, as well as auction tools. So everything is available within the Qgiv platform. And if you are a Qgiv client, we do have an upcoming webinar. It's a coffee break that is hosted by our very own Wendy Keene, how to build a text fundraising campaign within Qgiv. So I will include a link to this webinar in our follow-up email, but if you're interested in checking that out, please do. Now let's open up to questions.